When we think about India's fight for independence, a very specific picture usually comes to mind. It's a story defined by spiritual resolve, peaceful non-cooperation, and the guiding hand of Mahatma Gandhi. But on the ground, the reality of the struggle often looked entirely different. Across the subcontinent, mass public uprisings were spilling into the streets, creating a highly volatile and chaotic resistance to British rule. In January 1935, a new publication rolling off the presses in London threatened to upend the accepted narrative. The British government in India panicked. They immediately prohibited the physical book from entering the country, stating on the record that its contents encouraged terrorism and direct action. The colonial administration recognized this manuscript as a highly dangerous alternative blueprint for the nation's future. The author of this suppressed text was Subhas Chandra Bose. Within the Indian national movement, Bose stood alone. He was the only leader who managed to construct a complete, scientific, and radical alternative to Gandhi's ideology, which raises the question, what exact arguments did Bose hide inside this hastily written manuscript that made it such a specific threat to British rule? The answer lies in how Bose bypassed the usual list of political grievances. He took the very history of the subcontinent and weaponized it against the empire. We have to step back to Vienna in late 1934. Living in exile and struggling with severe illness, Bose rushed to finish his manuscript. Without access to extensive reference materials, he drew heavily on his own memory. Right from the book's introduction, Bose steps into the role of a historian. His immediate target is the core myth the British used to justify their occupation. European writers painted pre-British India as endlessly fractured, a chaotic landscape of warring chiefs, needing foreign administration to bring peace. Bose dismantled this. He pointed out an unbroken continuity of culture stretching back 3,000 years, transcending local geography and bloodlines. By proving the existence of this ancient underlying unity, Bose stripped away the British Empire's primary moral defense. They were no longer peacekeepers bringing order. They were an occupying force disrupting a unified civilization. To explain exactly why this specific occupation was uniquely dangerous, Bose introduces a stark sociological comparison. Previous conquerors made India their home. They shared in the social life, evolved blended cultures, and left local village administration untouched. The British operated differently. Bose categorizes them as alien birds of passage who refused to blend and instead sought total domination. They viewed the subcontinent as an economic engine. It was a place to extract raw materials, ship them back to Europe, and then flood the captive Indian market with finished goods. Because the British were culturally detached and operated purely on economic extraction, Bose deduced that passive resistance could never effectively dislodge them. This scientific analysis pushed Bose toward a sharp change in strategy. An extractive threat of this magnitude required a physical, forceful response. This conclusion forced him to issue a direct, uncompromising critique of the passive methods championed by leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. By 1941, theory became action. Bose secretly departed India on a perilous mission, undertaking a hazardous submarine voyage from Europe to East Asia to build a physical resistance. This banned manuscript provided the theoretical foundation for a massive armed rebellion against the empire. The colonial government successfully blocked physical copies of the book from reaching Indian shores for years, but they failed to contain the ideological fracture it caused. Decades after his disappearance, modern Indian thinkers and political analysts turned back to Bose's original teachings. His clear-eyed framework for evaluating statecraft is now studied as a vital tool for navigating the country's internal policies and external relations. Bose understood a crucial rule of statecraft. To offer a nation an alternative future, you first need the courage to reclaim and rewrite its past.